From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Robin Shan with today's Voice Briefing. It's Friday, July 25th, 2025.
I'm Teresa Baldus with the Detroit Free Press. Every year, Lake Michigan draws millions of people to its sandy beaches and towering dunes. However, it's also the deadliest lake in America, claiming more than 600 lives over the last 15 years. Yet, there are no lifeguards at 99% of our state's public beaches, which has drowning prevention activists demanding change, especially given the big bucks Lake Michigan brings in from tourists. Coastal towns rake in hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in beach parking fees. The state makes millions more in vehicle parking permits. However, in a state of more than 1,000 beaches where tourists spent $23 billion in 1 year alone, only 3 public beaches have lifeguards. This is the harsh reality in the so-called Water Wonderland state, which ditched state park lifeguards in 1993 and city beaches eventually followed suit. Why? Money, liability concerns, and staffing shortages. Beach safety advocates, though, aren't buying it. Neither are 3 grieving families who are suing the popular beach town of South Haven over the drowning deaths of their children. They maintain lifeguards could have prevented these tragedies. Lifeguard advocates believe these lawsuits could be the driving force for change, as the courts have thus far rejected South Haven's governmental immunity claims. Why? Because of how the city spends its beach revenue. The city is making money off the beach, 2 judges have concluded, but not spending it on safety. For more on this story, please report to freep.com.
Hi, I'm Orpin Lobo. I cover politics and state government for the Detroit Free Press. Teaching cursive hasn't been a requirement for Michigan public schools in over a decade, but legislation introduced in the State House would see a return to curriculum standards. House Bill 4675, introduced by Rep. Brenda Carter, would direct the State Department of Education to develop curriculum standards for teaching cursive by the 2027 school year. Districts across Michigan would be strongly encouraged, but not required, to adopt those standards. Carter, who has introduced a version of the bill in each of the last 3 sessions, said she's hopeful this is finally the time when the bill can become law. Some districts around the state already teach cursive to students, and it remains part of the curriculum in many Catholic schools around Michigan. Backers of teaching cursive to students point to studies which suggest cursives help with brain development and memory improvement. Carter also mentioned learning cursive would connect students to the past, giving them the ability to read historical documents. But there are some opponents, including those who say curriculum standards are already full. Others say getting students to be able to print legibly is a battle of its own. Right now, the bill still has to go through the legislative process before it can become law. In the House, it's been referred to the Committee on Education and Workforce.
This is Detroit Free Press auto critic Mark Phelan reporting. Subaru unveiled its latest electric vehicle in New York. The Uncharted will be Subaru's 3rd EV, also its smallest and least expensive. Sales should begin in early 2026. The Uncharted will seat 5 and come with either front or all-wheel drive. The front drive model will cover 300 miles on a charge, the AWD 290. All-wheel drive Uncharteds will have an electric motor on each axle. Subaru says they'll accelerate to 60 miles an hour in less than 5 seconds. The small SUV shares most parts with the upcoming Toyota CHR. It has 18 or 20-inch wheels and 8.3 inches of ground clearance. A Tesla-style NACS charging port will be standard on the Uncharted and the 2026 Solterra and Trailseeker, Subaru's other EVs.
Find more from the Detroit Free Press on freep.com. That's FREEP.com. Thank you for listening. Have a great weekend, and you'll hear more from us Monday.